satellite online.
Transmitting from the third mall from the sun. You have tuned into Radio Cosmos.
All right, welcome back to Radio Cosmos Live. My name's Mike Thompson, and I have the pleasure of sitting here with Miss Brooke Washor, who is a wonderful singer-songwriter, very nice young lady. And she's agreed to come into the studio with us today and share some music. So thank you, Brooke.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Excellent. Now, are you from the Panama City area, or are you a transplant here? How'd you end up down this way?
So whenever I was 3 years old, my dad's job brought us here, and I've pretty much been here since. I kind of moved away for a little bit for college, but I ended up coming back, and I've been here since. I've been here since I was 3. I'll be 24 next month. So I'm pretty local. I'm from Panama City Beach. I'm a beach kid. I grew up out there, went to high school. I even graduated from Florida State University in Panama City at their campus last spring semester. So.
Very good, very good. And it was funny because we were just sitting here chit-chatting before we started for the rolling, and it was the perfect example of what the kind of stuff we like to talk about on here.
Absolutely.
To catch you guys up, I had asked her about, did she have some albums out and things like that, and we started just talking about songwriting, the type of music you like to write. So if we could go back and kind of rediscuss that.
Absolutely.
Because that was great stuff. I mean, it's very insightful into what you're doing.
So basically, growing up, I kind of just always wanted to be like a country singer, or wanted to, be more closer to that genre. And just, I had this epiphany a few years ago where I was focusing so hard on trying to write a country song, and how is it gonna fit country? What is country? And I just kept writing, and I had this epiphany where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna write from my heart, because it really didn't feel real. It just felt like I'm writing about stuff that people have already written about. Right. What's the fun in that? Like, why not make something more original? And that's what I did, is I just started writing from experience. And I've always written from experience, but I always kind of added, some stuff in there that isn't completely true, but that's what writing is. You want to spice it up, But more so now, a lot of my songs that I've written recently are very real, and they're about experiences, and I just want people to be able to relate to them, because whenever I'm listening to music, I like to listen to something that relates to me and relates to my life and that I can resonate with. And that's just the same approach that I want to give listeners whenever they're listening to my music.
Right. Well, I think you're right. People resonate with that. It resonates, because they have that in their life too.
Absolutely.
And you can tell when somebody's, writing a fun party song or whatever, just to be a fun party song, or if someone's really kind of giving you a little piece of themselves. And I think listeners really, really love that. I mean, that's something.
Definitely. And adding on to that, I would just like to say that I think that whenever I had this epiphany that I wanted to change and just, not focus so heavily on writing about cowboy boots and riding around your hometown and, just like the same old stuff, which there's nothing wrong with writing about that stuff, because that stuff is good music, but I just wanted to take a different approach and kind of go for something different. And that's exactly what I did. And I started writing from the heart and writing from experiences, and not really just trying to push it if it's not there. And it really, really definitely has helped.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing when I first heard, when it was recommended I get a hold of you to have you on the show, I kind of went around and tried to find something. And when I first heard your music, that's one thing I really liked about it, really turned me on to it, was, it had that kind of modern country roots to it, if you can have roots from something modern. But you know what I mean? in there, but it wasn't just the same stuff you hear all the time. It had a little more, I don't even know how to, a little bit of pop flavor to it, a little bit of, almost an R&B kind of feel to it, So
absolutely.
I don't know if you do that on purpose or if it just happens.
Well, that's all genres that I grew up listening to. Like if you were to ask me when I was 3 years old what I wanted to be when I grew up, the answer would have been a rock star or Britney Spears. And Britney Spears was my first concert when I was 11 years old. And, people, it's funny because growing up, people were like, but you're going to be the next Taylor Swift or the next Carrie Underwood. Like, I don't want to be the next anyone. I want to be Brooke Washor. But it's funny because they're like, how did you go from, like, growing up listening to Britney Spears? And, it just shows that I have so much respect for all aspects of music and just all kinds of artists and all types of genres and stuff. And I grew up listening to all kinds of stuff. My dad, he always put me on like the Rolling Stones, and we even went to Hangout Festival together back in 2015, and we saw Macy Gray, I think her name is, Macy, and then also Cold War Kids, like all kinds of different genres, that you wouldn't even think that have heavily influenced my music just by listening to it. Because whenever I listen to music, I like to take different artists that I listen to and just kind of throw different things that I like from their music and add it to mine to make it my own. Which
is interesting because, you're talking about like Cold War Kids, which I'm not a huge Cold War Kids aficionado, but, their whole thing was they were taking those older influences and bringing it to a more modern sound, so that you're picking up on what they're doing and bringing it another step forward. So that's really cool.
Actually, I didn't even know that, so that's really cool that you mentioned that. You learn something new every day.
So when you sit down to write a song, do you sit down to write a song? Does it come to you while you're driving down the road? How does it happen? When does the spark happen for you?
So there's many different ways that this does happen. One, if I am, I write from the heart, and when I say that, I truly will go through experiences, and whatever I'm feeling, I'm a very much an empathetic person, and I feel emotions heavily, not just my own, other people. So if something's really weighing on my heart, I will write something down, or even like in my iPhone, I will go to the little voice recording real quick and just kind of like say something in there just to save it, because you might not have that same thought or idea 2 seconds later, and my head is very ADD. Or even like I'll be in the shower and I'll just start singing something and it just sounds really good, and I have to like get it out, or like I'll run out of the shower real quick so I can record it in my phone. And sometimes I will sit down and write a whole song in like 15 minutes. But lately what I've been doing is just kind of writing down little, maybe like 4 sentences, if that, which is still a lot, but it's something to work with, and then like I'll come back to it because
kind of let it grow around.
Yes, absolutely.
That thought,
Exactly, because I've noticed that a lot of my songs recently that I've written, most of them, I will start writing them at one point, and then I'll come back to it in my journal, because like it'll kind of be like a little like earworm in my head, it'll just keep playing, my own words will just replay in my head, and I'll eventually come back to it. And then at that time, whatever was happening to me in my life at that experience, it's either a completely different experience now, so I can completely turn the song into something, that I never thought it was going to be or go towards in the first place.
Which is always cool when they kind of switch gears. And,
Exactly. And like, just to give you like a little example of that. So I have a song, I See You, and whenever I'm singing the song, it sounds like I'm saying like, oh, I see you, like I'm looking at you. However, it does mean that, but it is like double meaning, where the actual song, it is abbreviated ICU, like almost like intensive care unit, because of the experience that I wrote about and just how traumatic it was for me. And it's basically about seeing someone's face in every crowd, no matter, you can't just get their face out of your head, and you see their face in everyone else's. And I chose to write about it, and then one day I did see that person's face, and I literally went home and like wrote a whole song. And it just kind of, like I was talking about seeing their face everywhere, and then whenever the song was done, I was like, wow, I see you. It was like, it just kind of wrote itself. So that was the cool part about it.
Yeah, I think being empathic is really a great asset for a songwriter.
Thank you.
I know I did a show one time, and the guy came up to me at the end. The most interesting thing someone said to me, he just goes, "I really enjoyed your music because it was so honest."
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't, some guy I don't even know. How does he know it's honest? I could have made, but just they got that from it, and I think that's a lot of it is because you're kind of putting your soul out there a little bit, and people appreciate that.
And I think that the most amazing part of songwriting is just being able to be as creative as you want with it, and your message, you may not know it, but your message could be completely different, like portrayed completely different by a listener. Like I've had, I've played songs for people and they're like, oh, is this about this or is this about self-love or this or that? And I'm like, no. Like, so I think it's nice that people can take their own message however they would want and however they'd like from music. And that's the thing about music is it is a universal language and it speaks to everyone. And whenever I write, I just write what's on my mind, and then hopefully it can be comforting to someone else, and hopefully it's the words that people couldn't get out to say or come find the words to come up with. So
yeah, excellent. I think that's beautiful, and that's one of the powers that music has, that or just art in general. People can look at a painting and like, well, what do you see in that painting? And it's it's a horse and a
exactly.
And it's like, well, no, it's freedom or whatever.
Same concept.
And I think music's the same way, that especially when you are putting a piece of yourself into it, you don't have to dump your purse on the record there, but
exactly.
But you are putting something out there that has an emotional tie, and people can pick up on that, and then they can decide what it means to them.
Definitely, I think it's good to be raw in a sense of where you're not oversharing, but raw to where people listen to it and they feel something and it resonates with them and it hits home, because they can listen to it and it can remind them of any type of situation, but that song could basically be their safe place for whatever reason. And whenever as a writer, you don't really think about that until you have released something or you have played it for other people, and then you get their feedback on it, and it's a really beautiful thing. It's awesome.
It is terrifying.
Exactly. Sometimes, because you're like, am I being too honest on it, And I don't know, I feel like in the long run, it'll all pay off. And I mean, you can't apologize for being you. So.
No, and I think it's probably the opposite. That, it's very brave to do it, and the bands or the acts, songwriters that intend to have their day in the sun and then disappear are the ones that put out kind of fluff.
You should only apologize when you're not being you.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I agree. That's some good advice right there.
The sage
it's
comes
true,
down
though.
from the
There
mountain.
you go.
Be unapologetically you.
So we talked about country music, right? And we talked about a little art. What kind of? I'm trying to think the right way to ask this. What kind of? Do you have a plan for the future of where you want your music to go?
Absolutely.
Style-wise, and yeah.
So for right now, like I said, my epiphany was, no more just country music. Whatever I make, I just want it to sound good, and people can classify it. If they want to play it on country radio, by all means, I would love for it to be played on there. If they want to stream it on different Spotify platforms of different genres, cool, by all means. I would just, love that. My goals right now, so I've been playing professionally. When I say that, I mean getting paid to play locally since I was 17 years old. On and off in this area, I've played literally all over from here to Georgia, Alabama, and I'm very blessed to be able to do what I do. And right now, my goal last year was for my shows to kind of be able to start booking themselves, because it's all me. My dad, I tell people he's like my manager and stuff, but it's, I'm basically managing myself, and this is what I do. I graduated school. Even when I was in college, I still pursued my music career.
Right.
This is something that I've always wanted. Now with COVID and all of that, there was a time a year ago where I had visited Nashville and I was so dead set on, wow, I would love to move here. But then all of that happened, and now you see artists from Nashville coming down to this area looking for places to play. And like, I have been so blessed this whole time to be able to play here that I want to continue to play those shows. And on a local level, yes, and then hopefully the next steps, I would love to either start a band or like, you know, just start playing with other people, because that's something that I haven't really done. I really need more experience doing that, and I would like to. I'm definitely game for it. I would like to co-write with other people, because that's another thing that I haven't really done. And I would just like to branch out and meet more artists that are really dedicated and just want the same thing as me, and that or I would love to meet more people that know about recording and stuff, because I do have like a handful of people that I do record with and have recorded stuff with, but they all make music of their own too. So I'll just, you know, either be like a feature on theirs, or we'll just kind of like create. And like, I've never actually like co-written like lyrically a song. We do, whenever we record together, it's just kind of like, I have this idea, you have this idea, let's just collaborate, you know. So I do have material with that, but really these next few years, I would like to get my material out, because I have material now that is written that I want to put out there, and I want to say, hey, this is me, who I want to be, how I want to be seen as an artist. Because all those songs that I was writing and recorded back, you know, a while ago, whenever that was like 2017, they were great songs, and they still are great songs. However, I never released them because I guess I felt like they just weren't really me. And maybe they were me for whenever I was 15, 16 years old writing them at the time, and they'll always hold a special place in my heart. However, they'll always be songs, you know, I wrote those songs, but it's time to move on and time to start writing about bigger things and things that, you know, I want to put out there. So I want to start recording.
You're maturing as a person.
Exactly.
And as a songwriter.
I have a lot of life that's lived, you know, and I have a lot of life that's left too.
Yeah,
I've lived a lot of life.
Man, you've done it all. Right, Calvin?
Absolutely.
I'm having some fun with it. So other than that, okay, so your music's wonderful. I really like it. I mean, you're here. What else goes on in your life? You seem like a very creative person. What else is going on when you're not writing songs and taking showers and thinking about writing? Singing in the shower, I guess, is what we were doing.
I like to hang out with my friends, and I'm a cat mom, so I have 2 kitties. I have
And their names?
Sunny and Rosie. They sound like somebody's like great grandparents or something. They're like just the sweetest things. But I found Sunny. They're both 3 this year, but I found him 3 years ago in Rosemary Beach, and I was at a construction site dropping a friend off at work, and this guy was pouring this like thing out of this bucket, and I saw this little kitty, and I was like, no way. Like, I had just lost my childhood cat of 17 years, and I like prayed to God that I would always find, you know, an animal and be able to rescue it. And that was it. He was my saving grace. And at the time, his name was actually originally Rosie, because we thought he was a girl. And then I took him to the vet, and he was like, your girl's a boy.
Yeah, and that can cause so much stress.
Yes.
All the other cats kind of laugh at him.
They do.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Poor guy.
They're a rough bunch. They're mean. Yeah.
But he's a little orange tabby, and he's huge now, but when I found him, he looked like a little ball of sunshine. And at first I started spelling his name S-U-N-N-Y, but I changed it to like Sunny's, like the barbecue place, because I like barbecue, and I like the way it was spelled better. So
the petite young lady comes into the studio carrying her, guitar case with "I Love Nashville" on it. Right on the side's a big old Mission Barbecue.
Gotta love it.
Pretty little.
I love stickers. I take them anywhere I see them. I'll be like, hey, like, even if you say these are free, like, I'll give you a few bucks, because I love stickerifying my guitar case.
Excellent. Let's play some music.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Let's do it.
All right. See you back in a second over there.
Greetings, programs. You're watching Radio Cosmos Live. Don't forget to listen to your favorite deep cut every week on Radio Cosmos.
All right, we're in the studio with the lovely and talented Miss Brooke Washor, and she's going to play some music for us. What do you got?
I've got a whole bunch of originals for us. I'm actually going to start with the I See You song that I mentioned in our interview.
Oh, excellent.
And yeah, I already gave you a little backstory on it, so I'm going to just go ahead and begin. I wrote this song almost 2 years ago, so here it goes. Do you remember we said forever not too long ago? Your memory kinda comes in waves, got me going through the motions, baby, every day. But still I wonder, do you ever think of me? 'Cause I'm dreaming of you when I shouldn't be. And I know it ain't real, but it's real to me. 'Cause I see you in everything. I see you. I saw your demons, made them mine for whatever reason. We were playing with fire. Heard you're acting brand new these days, and if I know you, I know you'll never change. You'll always stay the same. But anyways, do you ever think of me? 'Cause I'm dreaming of you when I shouldn't be. And I know it ain't real, but it's real to me. 'Cause I see you in everything. I see you. I see you. And I don't mean to see you everywhere. It's hard for me to pretend you're not really there. Do you ever think of me? 'Cause I'm dreaming of you when I shouldn't be. I know it ain't real, but it's real to me. 'Cause I see you in everything. I see you. I see you. I see you in everything. I see you. I see you. I see you in everything.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very
Fun
nice.
fact about that song, I actually got to perform it. Last time I was in Nashville pre-COVID, I called and I was able to be a part of the open mic at Bluebird Cafe. And I got to
Excellent.
play that song there. So, yeah. pretty
How'd
proud
that
of
go?
It was really awesome. It was
Yeah.
very, very
Not
nervy.
intimidating, was it?
Yes. Oh my gosh. The people in there, like, you think your song's good and then you hear like 15 other people and
You
you're
know,
like,
but
"Ugh."
the thing about music is it's what makes a good song.
Exactly.
You know,
What
some
is
of the most
good.
simple songs in the world are some of the best songs.
Absolutely.
You
It's
know,
like, why didn't I
so
think of
it's-
that?
yeah. Well, that's excellent. What else you got
Thank
for us
you.
over there? I'm excited.
Thank
now.
you. So, switch it up. I'm going to play a song that I wrote whenever I was 13 years old. Again, I will be 24 next month. So, I've kept this song in my set list for a very long time. But, you know, like we've said, a good song's a good song. And I don't think that it should
Good song never
matter
dies,
how
yeah.
old you are when you write it. And there's a reason I always kept this in my set, and it's for that reason. So, this is an original. This is called Hard Headed.
story started and the screen fades black. I'd do anything just to have you back. Yeah. Apologize for everything. Meanwhile, I didn't even open up my mouth about you. I'm not like all the other girls. I'll do it just me against the world. I'm gonna stand and take my ground with you. I'm hard-headed, falling in and out of love with you. So hard-headed, there's nothing you can do to change it too. I'm hard-headed, hard-headed, hard-headed. I'm hard-headed, but you gotta have a hard head to love someone like you. Not gonna cry, not gonna waste my time. Not gonna vent cause I claim I've lost my mind. Let's go and tell the rest of the school. Yeah, you're like a song that's never ending, a broken record that's left on repeat. Girl after girl, you just don't stop, do you? I'm hard-headed, falling in and out of love with you. So hard-headed, there's nothing you can say to change it too. I'm hard-headed, hard-headed, hard-headed. I'm hard-headed, but you gotta have a hard head to love someone like you. The story's over and this is goodbye. You lost the girl of your life to the one of the night. Well, I'm hard-headed, I'm falling in and out of love with you. So hard-headed, there's nothing you can do to change it too. I'm hard-headed, hard-headed, hard-headed. I'm hard-headed, but you gotta have a hard head to love someone like you.
Nice.
Thank you.
13-year-old Brooke rock.
Yes, I know. I was really, really going through it.
So where was this this little bright-eyed country gal I keep hearing about? I like it as rock and roll.
Thank
Yeah, and
you.
I love the way you play
Thank
too.
you. Thank you so much.
Very just that percussive style. You really get that energy into it. I like it. Being a bass player guy, I'm all about the rhythm and all that. It's
I love just making it my own and
Yeah.
different. And like I had told you earlier, as we were mentioning, I don't play bar chords. I would love to. I've tried to learn several times, but all in all, I only know about, like maybe 7 or 8 whole chords on
but
the
they're the
guitar.
right 7.
But if you rhythmically, put in the chords where they need to be, you can just come up with a masterpiece.
well,
so.
I think you're playing a little shy on us there because there were some juicy notes dropped in that
Thank
bridge.
you.
That I don't know if Calvin, you saw my big grin come on my face when she hit that. I was like, there's
I love
in
that.
there. So makes it interesting. Makes
Well,
it fun.
thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Give me more.
Okay, so I'm gonna slow it down a little bit. This is one of my slower songs, but this is definitely one of my favorites. It's a happier song. It's not so about like being hard-headed or seeing someone's face that you wish you couldn't get out of your head.
Yeah, 13-year-old Brooke was a little bitter.
Yes.
Yeah, but 13-year-old girls tend to be
Right.
a
I was
little
just really feeling it. But this one is a more recent song that I wrote. I actually performed this at the Floribama whenever I had the opportunity to sing there. I performed this and I got to sing it. I wrote this about a little over a year ago, so it's fairly new, but I really like this one and I hope you guys like it as well. This is called A Guy Like You.
searching for high ground, 'cause love was all I knew, yeah. But out of the blue, you came in that gray sky had some color again, filling in the blanks he left. And I'm okay with that, 'cause I sure like where this is going. And baby, if you want, you can keep it on coming all night, 'cause I could get used to your company. And I don't mean to jump the gun, but baby, can't you see, a guy like you is pretty hard to beat. You're just what I need. They say chivalry is dead, but I agree to disagree with that. 'Cause it's hard to ignore when you open my door, take me places that I've never been before. What more could I ask for? Tell me, is this what it's like to be yours? 'Cause I sure like where this is going. And baby, if you want, you can keep it on coming all night, 'cause I could get used to your company. And I don't mean to jump the gun, but baby, can't you see, a guy like you is pretty hard to beat. You're just what I need. Ooh, you're just what I need. Sometimes goes from my past still get in my head. I'm at war with myself all over again. But you don't seem to focus on any of that, so I say less, and you understand that I sure like where this is going. And baby, if you want, you can keep it on coming all night, 'cause I could get used to your company. And I don't mean to jump the gun, but baby, can't you see, a guy like you is pretty hard to beat. It's just what I need. Ooh, just what I need.
Yes.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you
I like
so
that.
much. Thanks. I feel like that song is, granted it is about a different person than the other situation. However, I think that's a more lighter, on a happier note. It's kind of after I'd experienced all the trauma, and it was something, it gave me something nice to write about whenever I met someone who was refreshing and not like the rest of the other people out there. So I like it. It's one of my happier songs, definitely.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. You need to hang out with some nicer people, I think.
I know. I think that's part of being an empath, though. You know, you just kind of let
That's
everyone's emotions
The
drain.
joy
you.
of growing up, yeah, and musically, and I'm still working on it.
Absolutely. I gotta
Believe it or not.
Well, so for the next song, I'm going to play, this is one of my newer songs. This is called Deserve This. I actually started recording a version of this with a friend of mine, Tim. He's very talented. We're not finished with it, but it's very, very close to being done. And I love this song. And this is actually one of those songs where one day I came up with these words, these lyrics in my head, sounded really good, sang it out loud, wrote it down in my journal, and then came back to it 2 months later and was in a completely different scenario, but I had something to write about and I couldn't get it out of my head, so I came back to it and finished it. And this is that song. So this is called Deserve This.
Honestly, you could be the one, that's what I thought. Before you did me wrong, yeah, it's your loss. The ball's in my court now, please, that's what I tell myself. You tend to like me better when there's drink in your cup. Faded, but we're fading, wish you'd just sober up. Sober up, yeah, this once. But you're not who I thought you were, and I want you so bad it hurts. So how the tables have turned, I don't think that I deserve this. I don't think that I deserve this. There's a fine line between love and lust. You fed me lies and called it trust. Yeah, you and I are not the same, 'cause I would never, ever, ever do you this way. You're not who I thought you were, and I want you so bad it hurts. So have the tables it turned, I don't think that I deserve this. Do you think that I deserve this? Yeah, I know sometimes life gets hard, but I'm sure you'll find your way out. Put aside your pride, read between the lines until you figure all of it out. But that's no big excuse for everything that you put me through. Would you like that? Yeah, 'cause I can do you right back. Well, you tend to like me better when there's drink in your cup. Faded, but we're fading, we should just sober up. You're not who I thought you were, and I want you so bad it hurts. So how the tables have turned, I don't think that I deserve. You're not who I thought you were, and I want you so bad it hurts. Oh, how the tables have turned, I don't think that I deserve this. Do you think that I deserve this? I hope that she was worth it. Thought you were a different person.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you liked them. Thank you. So, next up, I have got Fantasy, which I like to think is almost like a part 2 of I See You. Mm-hmm. So it was clearly, the situation was still not off my mind, and I had to continue to write about it, and that's what I did. And basically, Fantasy is a song about a relationship that was a lie, and you just keep thinking about it, and it's just not everything that you thought it was caked up to be. And reflecting, it's more of like a reflective piece of looking back on that. So.
All right.
Side of the bed, it stays pretty cold, like your heart. In other words, you spoke to my soul. You painted a picture, your vision seems so different, and I got caught up in it, rather with ya. Oh, oh, oh. I am missing you when you are worlds away in a stranger's arms, and I am not okay with missing you, 'cause you were good to me. Thought it was really love, but it was fantasy. Always trying to right my wrongs, but I didn't need saving. You wouldn't let go. What the hell was I thinking? Losing all self-control. Sometimes the only way out is through. Oh, I just wanted some closure and you couldn't get that, so you pushed me over the edge. This is the last time I told you, but before you know it, we were walking on eggshells again. Can't you see, yeah, all the damage you did to me? It all felt like a dream, but everything is not what it seems. 'Cause I am missing you when you are worlds away in a stranger's arms, and I am not okay with missing you, 'cause you were good to me. Thought it was really love, but it was fantasy. Stranger's arms, and I am not okay with missing you, 'cause you weren't good to me. Thought it was really, 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 whoa. Yeah, I am missing you when you are worlds away in a stranger's arms, and I am not okay with missing you, 'cause you weren't good to me. Thought it was really love, but it was fantasy. Your side of the bed, it stays pretty cold, like your heart and all the words you spoke to my soul.
Thank you.
Very, very good. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Is that what you got for us today?
I do. I have one more if you wanted me to play it.
Yeah.
I chose this
I
one.
think Sonny and Rosie can do without you for
I
just a
think
little
so,
bit
too.
longer.
So I have not played this one in a while. No specific reason. I just have written newer songs, and I like to push those a little bit more. But this is the song Stuck on You. I think I should save this one for last just because it'll show you how different my writing has changed and how in the creative aspect and how it's progressed and how it's just a little bit more unique and different. And fun fact, fun little story about this song. So I wrote Stuck on You back in 2017 it had to have been. I was driving down Front Beach Road, listening to Joe Nichols' Broken Heartsville, And I just was getting so into it. And I was like, man, this song is so good. I really want to go home and write a song as good as this one. So I did. And I just went home and I wrote about all these different little things that I pieced together. And this was at the time right when I came home from college in Georgia for a little bit. And there's a lyric in the song where I said, I know it's hotter than Metter. And if you've ever been to Metter, Georgia, it's South Georgia, and it's very hot. And there's a whole time and story and time
I
for...
think a little humidity there too. I think.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But no, there's another time and story for that and how I got that. But I definitely, this is a completely reflective, different time. It reflects a different time in my life, and I would just like to play that for y'all.
Excellent. Thank you.
It would help if I was in the right key, right? There we go.
We were sitting there laughing about something like we always do. From your cowboy boots up to your brown hair, I've been feeling so lucky. All I could do was stare. And then you said, baby, let's go get a little lost in this old back hole. Said you had a good spot where we could get lost. Said, can you take me there? We were kicking dust up as I was falling in love, and never caught a feeling like this. You were blowing my mind, flashing those green eyes, wishing that kiss would come next. I know it's harder than Metter, but that Georgia weather didn't keep me from you. Nobody's got me the way you do. And yeah, I'm stuck, boy, stuck, boy, stuck, boy. I'm stuck on you. Next thing you know, we were stripping it down, rope swinging to the water speakers, bumping the sound. BG and a little McGraw, living like we're dying, we were singing along. So caught up in what it was, counting my blessings, boy, I can't get enough. You keep reeling me in like a bass on a line. Good God, boy, you shine so bright. So we kept kicking the dust up, cause I was falling in love and never caught a feeling like this. You were blowing my mind, flashing those green eyes, wishing that kiss would come next. I know it's harder than Metter, but that Georgia weather didn't keep me from you. Nobody's got me the way you do. And yeah, I'm stuck, boy, stuck, boy, stuck, boy. I'm stuck on you. I'm stuck on you. As the day went on, we started heading on home, wearing nothing but a grin. Then you pulled in the drive, you put your hand in mine. You said, I gotta tell you this. I'ma keep kicking the dust up, cause I'm falling in love and never caught a feeling like this. You put me on my mind, flashing those green eyes, baby, here comes that kiss. I know it's harder than Metter, but that Georgia weather didn't keep me from you. Nobody's got me the way you do. Yeah, I'm stuck, boy, stuck, boy, stuck, boy. I'm stuck on you. Yeah, 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 I'm stuck on you. I'm stuck on you.
She is Miss Brooke Washor. She is fantabulous, and she is actually as nice as she appears to be. Where can people find when you're playing your music, download it, buy it, all that good stuff?
So, all of my links you can find if you have a Facebook, if you go to facebook.com and you type in /@Brooke Washor, or even in the search you type in @Brooke Washor, that's BROOKEWASHOR. If you click on pages, I have a music page. It's got all of my events posted there, videos. It even includes more links that are to my other social media pages as well. I have Instagram at Brooke Washor, same spelling, but mainly Facebook has every single event, and you can keep up with me on there. I'm pretty consistent with posting dates and where I'll be next. And
Excellent.
also, I have a Reverb Nation page you can check out as well. It's at Brooke Washor. If you type in reverbnation.com/Brooke Washor, I've got some recorded stuff on there. Haven't made it to Spotify or iTunes or anything like that yet, but it is in the works. It's coming very soon, and all of those songs that you just heard are going to be on there pretty soon. So it's in the works.
I am super impressed both with you and with
thank
your
you.
music, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
All
been my
right.
pleasure. I appreciate it.
See you guys next time. Where's the clapper?